All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. This video is entitled The Struggle, and basically going into or centered around something that the Apostle Paul mentioned, all right, in the book of Romans. I want to say it's Romans, the 7th chapter, and basically he mentions, all right, the two laws, okay, the two laws, the law of the spirit and the law of the flesh, okay, and that it's a constant struggle. Okay, now a day or two ago, all right, I was listening to a live stream done by the elder brother Kazak in Mississippi, and he was with another brother, and he mentioned how basically we're warring with the flesh because the flesh and the spirit are not in sync. All right, right now in these sinful bodies, our flesh and our spirit are not in sync. Okay, so that's why it's called the struggle. All right, it's a constant struggle between our spirit and our flesh. Okay, and it actually is a struggle. Now, this struggle, all right, is something that mainly we deal with. All right, mainly those, all right, of a righteous spirit are the ones who really deal or struggle with this, with this back and forth between the body and the spirit. Why is that? Because, as Yahweh Shai said, the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay, now the flesh is weak, but it uses that weakness to try and draw down the spirit as well. Okay, and that's why there will be those days where, in your spirit, maybe you should do a video, or you should read, or you should do something pertaining to the body of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, but your flesh just feels so tired, or your flesh feels like procrastinating, or feels negligent about it. Okay, this is all a part of the war, okay, that we have to go through between the spirit and the flesh. Okay, and it's not just us, all right, that experienced this, man. All the men of old, all right, even Apostle Paul, and that's why he spoke about it. Okay, so that we can understand that when you go through whatever you go through, okay, ultimately it's not just you, and there's a reason. Okay, there's a reason why you have to battle against the flesh. It's because your spirit is trying to do what's right. Now, that is not an excuse to say, well, my flesh is warring against me. My spirit is quote unquote under attack by the flesh. So that's an excuse. I'm gonna just use that and go off and just say, what, it is what it is. Now, Paul did say that basically it's not him that sinneth, but sin that dwells in him. And that's why in the book of Jude, the scriptures liken, all right, this body, the sinful flesh, onto chains of darkness, because these chains of darkness, this body is what keeps us in darkness. Though we try, all right, to do what's right and to basically escape, all right, ultimately we're still trapped in these chains of darkness, all right, to an extent. Okay, and it's not until Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai gives us a new body that we're going to be freed from these chains of darkness. Okay, and that's why ultimately that new body, we're going to be able to be in sync. Our spirit and our body is going to be in sync, and that's why we're going to be perfect. Because if our spirit and our body was in sync now, then your body would be in line with your spirit. Your spirit says honor the Sabbath, your body's going to honor the Sabbath. It's going to remember. It'll make a mental note, because your body actually can do that. All right, when you let's say you're a child, right, and the first time you put your hand in fire, of course you're going to get burnt and you feel that pain. That's a lesson, that's a lifelong lesson you learn, to where from birth until death, that fire is something that hurts you. And so you're not going to go and just put your hand in fire just like that, because you know what's going to happen. Your body, your flesh has the ability to remember that from birth until death. Okay, so your flesh has the ability to remember things, all right, and embed them in your brain. All right, so how come when it comes to things like the Sabbath, your flesh, you might forget here and there, there's something you got to do, but you might feel tired, you might feel lackadaisical. Think about it. When you're hungry, right, when you're hungry, like super hungry, you're not all lackadaisical to go get food. You're quick. You know, you smell food, you hear food, you're fast. The second that food gets there, you ready to tear it up. Okay? Why is that? Why how come, where does all that sudden burst of energy come from? When you're angry, all right, you're very furious, you know, you get this sudden, you know, burst of anger, and you're just willing to, you know, do something. Where does all that energy come from? How come that energy is not there when you're, you know, when your spirit is like, yo, let me do a video, or, you know, let me do this, or let me study for like, you know, a couple hours? Where does that energy go? Once again, is the flesh against the spirit. They follow two different laws. All right. And that's why the scriptures say that a carnal mind is enmity, all right, or enmity with the Most High. Okay, because a carnal mind is one that follows the flesh. So these people in the world, they don't go through that struggle because their spirit ain't trying to do what's right. You know, as we've mentioned over and over again, the way the flesh thinks is what feels good and what doesn't feel good. All right, the flesh does not consider and say this is right and this is wrong. That's something that's done by his spirit. So that's why you see a lot of people in the world, they commit adultery without a second thought. They go and eat abominable foods without a second thought. They go and commit all manner of abominations without a second thought. Why? Because they're following the flesh. So their spirit and their flesh are one in wickedness, and they're following that. And all they know is it feels good, so I do it. And if you're going to stop me from feeling good, or you're going to make my body feel bad, then this is bad. All right. That's why they lack discipline. And ultimately, that's why they're going to be destroyed. Okay. Because their spirit and their body are intertwined, but in wickedness, and they're thinking, all right, with their flesh. You know, you like this guy, what's his name? Boozy Badass, or whatever his name was, when he did a video basically disrespecting the Most High, you know, saying, how you going to tell us we can't eat pork, and so on and so forth. You know, and it tastes good, and, you know, I'm starving down here and you telling me I can't eat pork. You know, all that kind of stuff, right? Because he's thinking with his flesh. He's not considering, you know, as the scriptures say, the flesh is not subject unto the law of the Most High, because he's not considering that what he's doing is evil. And that's why the scriptures say, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. Well, if you're ruled by the flesh, you could care less. You know, that woman is married. Is she giving it up? Does that feel good? Okay, so I don't care. That's how the flesh goes. You know, you say, you know, that doesn't belong to me. You know, so I shouldn't take that. That's somebody else's. Well, is it gonna look nice on me? Is it gonna make me, you know what I'm saying? Is it gonna make me look good? I bet. Is it gonna make me happy? All right, cool. I'm taking it. There you go. You start stealing. You know what I mean? That's how the flesh thinks. Good, bad, feel good, not even morally good or morally bad, just what feels good and what doesn't feel good. So now, us being in this world, in this society that promotes everything of the flesh, everything around us is promoting the flesh. So it's basically like a venom for Bane. You know, it's like adrenaline for the flesh. And we gotta basically fight against that with our spirit. That's why, all right, the patience, all right, that's why the patience of the Lord's word is difficult. Okay, because we are in a world that promotes the flesh, that gives the flesh basically an edge. Is extremely difficult, you know, to basically be righteous, because everybody around you, you know, is promoting wickedness, giving your flesh the handicap against your spirit, and here you are, you know, trying to fight against it. But ultimately, we understand that the spirit of the Lord, all right, is far greater and superior than any other spirit in existence. So, you know, we're not to worry, you know, or fret about it, but that's a part of the condition of the battle. Okay, that's a part of the condition of the battle. So now, you know, being armed with that knowledge, okay, are we to just go around and just, you know, act all reckless? And, you know, no, we got to be cautious, man. All right, because we know that we're not only, you know, as it says in Ephesians 6, all right, and 12, we're not only going up against, you know, wickedness in high places and principalities and demons, okay, but we're going up against ourselves as well. Okay, you're going up against the flesh, which is trying to revive the old man that was put away when you came into the truth and you renewed your mind through the spirit. Your flesh is trying to revive that same old man. Okay, and your spirit is like, nah, you know, I gotta keep the new man alive. I gotta keep him strong. So how do you do these things? That's why we have instruments, all right, that can help us, like fasting, okay? Like praying, all right? Like staying in the spirit, reading, studying, okay? Doing your videos, watching videos, trying to avoid, things that are gonna entice your flesh. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, there's things we do. You do things on your leisure time. You do pleasurous activities here and there. But where you go off is when the pleasures are wickedness. All right. You can have fun in righteousness. Look, nobody's telling you to go starve. All right. You can eat.
There are no phones connected.
Okay.
Connect a phone and try again.
Nah, I'm all right. But yeah, my hand hit the thing by accident. But you can eat things. You can eat things that taste good in righteousness. Man, lamb. You know how good lamb tastes. Chicken. You got all these different options here that the Lord has said you can eat. So why is it so hard? You know what I'm saying? That to do those things. But the indicator that says, hey, put the pork down and eat something else. That is your spirit. It's your spirit that causes that to happen. And so that's why the Apostle Paul mentioned, all right, about the war, okay, basically the war and his members, all right, the two laws, the law of the spirit, okay, and the law of the flesh, and the Lord understanding that's why he sent Yahushua down, okay, because he knew that being in this sinful flesh is next to impossible to keep all those laws that he gave us perfectly, man, okay, because the laws are perfect, but we're not perfect. So how does an imperfect being keep a perfect law? The answer is you don't. And that's why in the book of Hebrews, it tells you for finding fault with them. Okay? The Lord found fault with us. All right? Not with the laws. He found fault with us. All right? And that's why he basically, had this new covenant. Okay? That we're about to receive. Lord willing, we are of that elect. Okay? Let me, Salakia, let me just pull up right here. So that's why we have that new covenant. Else, we basically wouldn't be able to achieve that perfection. The new glorious body the Lord is gonna give us is gonna be perfect. All right, and we're not gonna go off in those bodies. Now I saw somebody put a precept on here. Shalom to those watching, by the way. That's right. Kazak Ban Yahawada, Ecclesiasticus 20 and 32. Necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that leadeth his life without a guide. And what is the ultimate guide? All right, let's get that real quick. What is the ultimate guide? So when you lead your life without a guide, of course you're going to be misled. All right, now let's get a quick precept. Let's see what the guide is. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 75. It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. All right. So our guide is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the creator of everything. Okay. So if you live in your life without a guide, of course you're going to be deceived and used and abused by these demons. All right. That's where you get the term bugged out. All right. This is yeah. Lamb does taste good, man. And that's why, in the Asian world, they always getting them goats, them lamb, they baking cakes, Let's see. Yep. Kazak Bani Hawada, John 6 and 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. You see? So when we read, these scriptures and so on and so forth, our spirit gets strengthened because there's a spirit behind the words of this book. And that's the spirit of Yahushua, the spirit, the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. When you get into these scriptures, there's an actual spirit that comes upon you, Now, your spirit can go for days. Your spirit can keep on going, but your flesh is what gets tired. Your mind gets weary, your flesh gets tired, okay? So you got to take a break, You can't overdo it. You got to balance it out because we're in this flesh, All right, and that's why you got to be what? You got to be disciplined, okay? This is Tazar, Galatians 6 and 8. It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life. So there you go. All right, as it tells you in the book of Proverbs that you basically are reaping what you sowed. All right, so now let's get what I was quoting in the beginning. This is the book of Romans. Now I believe it's in the 7th chapter. All right, the book of Romans. All right. This is Romans chapter 7. Okay, and I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. All right. So just like the Apostle Paul said, one second. Salakia. So just like the Apostle Paul said, the law is not the sin. All right. The sin is an action. All right. The law is not sin. So as he's saying here, is the law sin? No, God forbid. But by the law, all right, he said, I had not known sin but by the law. Because once you do something and you're told, hey, you're going off, you just broke the law. The law says, don't do this thing that you just did. That's how you know that what you did was a sin. All right. When we were in the world, all right, I'll take myself as an example. You know, getting crisp ass lineups. I mean, it was, you know, all the way. You know, at damn near every week and a half, 2 weeks, shit was crisp. You know, man, I mean, shit, we were in the world, right? Now, then we didn't know, all right, or I'll say I didn't know, okay, that you weren't supposed to eat pork. I thought that was a Muslim thing, you know? I didn't know that you weren't supposed to be getting them crisp ass lineups and all this extra stuff, right? Now, it wasn't until I started watching videos, all right, and brothers started mentioning, they said, you're not supposed to be eating them porks, you're not supposed to be doing this, that, and the third. When they started mentioning the law, they went into the, you know, the book of Leviticus, they went here, they went here. That's when I knew that what I was doing was going off. That's when I knew I was sinning, because I knew the law. You know, after brothers and elders were bringing, hey, you know, you men out here who were doing this, not saying I was committing adultery, but I'm saying for, you know, those things, because in the world you hear about like TYB and this, that, and that, and you think that that's a normal thing. Yo, he TYB, damn, he's nice with the girls. That's wicked. But you won't know it's wicked until you find out that the law says you ain't supposed to do it. That's when you know sin. So that's why Paul said, I had not known sin but by the law. Once the law was made known unto him, then he knew what sin was. Okay, so it says, for I had not known lust, except the law said, thou shalt not covet. So it's a normal feeling. It, you know, it doesn't really have much attention, a category. You don't really have a category yet. It's just a feeling you get, you know, until you find out you're not supposed to covet. You know, you're not supposed to covet after your neighbor's items, you know, so on and so forth. Then you're like, oh shit, that feeling is a sin. You know, that whatever it is that I do that is against the law is a sin. All right. So now you have a category for whether it's a feeling or an action or whatever it may be. Okay, it says, but sin, verse 8, Romans 7 and 8, but verse 8, but sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence, for without the law, sin was dead. Because just like Paul said, where there is no law, there is no sin. Without the law, sin is dead. That's why these heathens walk around doing whatever they want to do. They're not under our law, not yet. Okay, but if you don't have the law, there is no such thing as sin, because sin is breaking the law. Now, how do you break something that's not there? Okay, therefore the whole, you know, concept of sin is just, you know, is gone. Okay, because I'll give you an example. When you eat fried chicken, for example, that's not a sin. Okay, that's not a sin. Sin doesn't exist there. You know why? Because there's no law against eating fried chicken. Okay, so boom, right there, you good. All right. So it says, Verse 9, for I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. Okay? Because when you in the world, okay, without the law, you're good. You know what I'm saying? You think everything is all good. You know, you don't see the wickedness and the folly in what you're actually doing. You know, it isn't until it's brought to your realization, hey, you know you're going off, right? You know, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, da 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 da. You're like, oh you know, that's when you actually, it's like somebody giving you a mirror so you can finally actually see an image of yourself. You know, your hair is all messed up. You know what I'm saying? Your face is all messed up. You know, everything is all in the wrong place. Okay? That's when you realize, oh, let me go see what's up with that. Hey, Salaki, you know, parking over here, you know, if you in the Bronx, you already know what the deal is. So when you see something, you take something. You know, you don't play. All right, Kolo Yao Bashim Yao Shai. Okay, but yeah, just as I was saying, okay, if you don't know that what you're doing is going off, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You keep doing it because you think it's okay. You think everything is all sweet, just like a child. You know, why do you discipline your child so that you can teach them, hey, look, whatever you're doing, you're going off. You ain't supposed to do that. You know, then they learn. Oh shoot, okay, that's bad. Okay, that's all right. Last time I did that, I got the pow. So next time I'm not gonna do that. You know, blase blah. Let me see what Buzz have on here. This is Rome. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Yep, brother, got it. That's the one I'm going to in Romans 7, and I believe it's around the 15th verse. Okay, but hey, just as Paul is saying, so this is what we also gotta suffer, man. This is a part of the suffering that we go through, man. This is a part of the trials and the tribulation and the hell that we catch. It's having to deal with constantly the warring that's constantly going back and forth between what? The spirit and the flesh. You know, demonic thoughts coming into your mind. That's not of your spirit. That's of the flesh. But guess what? You tied. You know what I'm saying? You tied. You in one body. You know? So here it is. You know what I'm saying? You're going back and forth. Hey, it's draining. You know, it's draining. But you know, it's a part of the condition of the battle. All right, it's a part of the bitterness. You know, you see, the war doesn't fully start until you come into the truth, until you realize, hey, you got to stop doing this. You got to start doing this. That's when the war starts. Okay, and that's a part of the bitterness. You know, because when you in the world, you eating pork. You know what I'm saying? If you committed adultery, you committed adultery. You know, if you stealing, you stealing. You know, but when you come into this truth, the war begins when you try to stop all those things that you've been doing for so long. The things that you were born and raised with that are wicked, you try to stop them. Celebrating these wicked holidays, all those things, you've been used to it, doing it for however many years you were doing it before you came into this truth. Now the war begins when you got to stop those things because now you know it's wrong. So that's when the clash begins. The flesh is like, whoa, what you know what I'm saying? Here it is, you about to take a bite and then you remember, oh, hold up, nah, don't eat that. You throw that bacon away. The flesh is like, whoa, you know? And now the conflict begins and you start, and then that's you know, that's your journey. So continuing on, I'm actually jump down to the point. There we go. This is Romans chapter 7, verse 15. It says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I, or that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. All right. So I'm gonna read that again. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. So the flesh is willing. What Paul would do, what he's willing to do, that he does not, because what? His flesh, being those chains of darkness, restricts him. Now, it doesn't mean that Paul wants to do right, but he's always doing wrong. He just means that what he wants to do is be perfect. He wants to be all righteous. He wants to do, you know, what the Lord requires to the fullest extent, but he can't do that. Okay? So that I'm gonna read that part again. He said, what I would, that do I not. Okay, what the spirit is willing to do, you're not able to do it because of the flesh. It says, but what I hate, that I do. And what does he hate? Sin. All right, because sin is evil. Sin is a bad time, and the scriptures say, love the good, hate the evil. So what I hate, that I do. You know, because that's why after sometimes, hey, you might end up going off and you realize it, and you hate that feeling. You feel so so sorrowful, and you repent because that sin that you committed, you hate it. But you ended up doing it anyway. All right. It says, verse 16, if then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. It says, now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. All right. So it's like having a roommate. it's like being a roommate with sin. Here it is, you trying to do this, but in your same house, right? This earthly house, our bodies, you got this wicked ass demon called the wicked flesh, the sinful flesh sitting right there. And occasionally you gotta struggle. If you're in a car, you gotta struggle about who's gonna control the steering wheel. And that's where you get that conflict. The spirit is like, nah, we gotta go here, we gotta do it this way. The flesh is like, no, we trying, and here you are, So you gotta, and that's when them demons come. So when you go through that, you gotta pray so that your spirit can, push the flesh somewhere and subject it somewhere, and then take control of the wheel. All right, and that comes by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. The flesh draws its energy or its strength from these demons. All right, and the spirit draws its strength from the Heavenly Father, from the right hand side. All right. Let me see if there's any more in here. Verse 18, it says, for I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. So like he said, to will, what I'm saying? Our flesh can't stop us from wanting to do righteousness. It can't stop us from willing to do righteousness. But as Paul said, for to will is present with me. I'm able to do it. All right, I'm able to desire. I'm able to be willing in the spirit to do what's right. All right, but how to perform that is good, I find not. Why? Because of this stupid ass, sinful ass flesh. Okay. It says, and that's ultimate mercy. Because the Lord. That's why the Lord said he imputeth not iniquity. Blessed is the man whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity. Because the Lord sees, yeah, we're not perfect, but our spirit is willing. We have that will. We have that will, that drive, that desire to do what's right. And the Lord knows, all right, all I got to do is take this willing spirit and put it in a willing body, and then you have perfection. But if you got a wicked ass Israelite, there's no hope for him. You can't extract the good and leave the bad. Everything is bad. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see. There we go. All right, I'm gonna just keep reading down. Okay. It says, where was I? Verse 19. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. Okay? For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, that spirit. But I see another law in my members. So the spirit got the law. And that's why the Lord said those that serve, worship the Lord must worship him in spirit and in truth, not in flesh, all right, but in spirit and in truth, because that's where the pure will and desire to serve the Lord is going to come from, okay? So as Paul's saying here, he said, I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man, okay? But I see another law in my members, and that's the flesh, okay? It says, warring against the law of my mind. You know, this is wrong, but the flesh is out here like, damn, man, how good would that feel? How good would that taste? How easy it is, just chill, just relax. That's the war that's going back and forth. Okay? That's the internal conflict. It says, but I see, verse 23 again, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. So you might end up giving into the flesh. Okay? O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? And that shows you humility, because Paul was doing a lot of things. He was doing a lot of righteous things. He was doing great things, miracles in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but he wasn't going around on some like, hey, look at what I'm doing. You know, Lord, Yahushai came to me. He taught me. I'm doing this, that, and the third. No. He's even after doing these things, this is what he's writing. You know, confessing that honestly confessing that, look, I ain't shit. You know, I mean, I do all these different things. I serve the Lord, but still, you know, at the end of the day, this is what I struggle with, you know, and he acknowledges that and admits it. So it says, verse 25, I thank the Most High through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord. So then with the mind, I serve the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but with the flesh, the law of sin. Okay. And ultimately, that's why the Lord is so merciful, because he's going to have mercy on us, because at least with our mind, we serve the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. And we constantly war with the flesh and try to bring it under subjection. Okay. But the inward man hasn't been corrupted by the outward flesh. Okay. And that is the key right there, man. Okay. But to put yourself in a better condition, you have to practice discipline. You have to practice subjecting the flesh. And when you do it over a period of time, it gets easier. You know, when you first come into this truth, and let's say you were heavy on certain, you know, dietary issues, when you first come into this truth, you might need to keep reminding yourself, hey, no, stay away from that. But months and years after staying away from it, your body, all right, naturally becomes, you know, it becomes a new body that doesn't know how to process or break down those kind of things. So you may eat it and you ain't gonna feel right. Your stomach is gonna feel weird. Your body's gonna have a certain different reaction. All right. Because over time, you get disgusted. I'm disgusted when I see bacon or when I smell pork. It makes me want to throw up, you know, because what? You know, you're over time, that feeling of like, no, stay away. That turns to, oh, that's disgusting, you know, and then you're able to keep on pushing. Same thing, man. You know, you see a woman, the second you find out, you know what I'm saying, oh, she's not single, that's like a turnoff. That's it. Now I keep it pushing, you know, that's it. Okay. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but it's like, you know, it's prayer and it's practice. You got to keep on doing it and strengthening yourself, man. All right. Continue to build the spirit as best as you can. And you do that by pouring into your spirit. You invest your time in the spirit more than the flesh. Okay. You invest your time in your spirit to strengthen it. And slowly but surely, you'll find out that your flesh might not be in full agreement with your spirit, but your flesh will be subject to your spirit, you know? So you're going to be able to do certain things, all right, that your flesh might not want to do, but it's going to have to do it because your spirit is in control, all right? So the moral of the lesson is strengthen your spirit that you can take control in the spirit and not let your flesh rule you, all right? Because that's going to also help you in the times to come when you need to make spiritual decisions, all right? Not carnal, emotional, fleshly decisions. And that's right, like the brother said, Yanazar, 144K, you got to fast, all right? You got to fast and pray to the Lord, because when you fast, they tell you when you fast for a certain amount of days, you reach a certain point where you experience, I think it's called apathy, all right? Where you don't lack any desires for anything. You don't lack desires for carnal things. You know, if you like playing video games or watching sports and stuff like that, that all leaves. You know, and the only thing you want to do is read or, you know, get into the spirit. All right. That's what happens when you fast after a certain amount of days, because your flesh is weak. It's so weak that its desires can't call out. It can't try to subject you to its desires. You know, and that's why oftentimes when men of old would fast, they would be by themselves, because when you fasting, you're in a different zone. You're in a different vibration. So you don't necessarily want to, you know, you get vexed easily. You know, everything that everybody else talks about regularly sounds like folly to you. You know, it does. But hey, that's all part of strengthening your spirit. Okay. So with that, I hope you were edified. All right. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. We see what's going on in the world. And 2021 is looking to be a very interesting year, man. You know, so Lord willing, hey, Lord willing, the Lord had all of them prophecies get fulfilled next year. You know, Lord willing, the Lord blesses with spiritual power. He sends Yahweh Shai deliver us. These devils push that chip. You know, they come after us. Whatever they got to do, man. All right. But they got to make their moves so the Lord can checkmate them. All right. So stay in the spirit, stay strong, but we almost out of here. All right. So with that, shalom.